The intended use of this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the host and guests independently, and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Updog Challenge Incorporated, its sponsors, or any other partnered organizations. Updog Challenge Incorporated does not guarantee the accuracy or reliability of any opinions expressed. In no way should the information provided during the Sweet Spot and Updog podcast be considered veterinary, medical, legal, or professional advice. At all times, the advice of your personal professional should supersede any information provided, derived, or inferred from listening to this podcast.
Ready, set, go.
Welcome to the Sweet Spot, an Updog podcast. I'm Andre Morissette.
And I am Jack, and we are your hosts today. And our guest today is not here.
Yo mama!
So, with no guest, well, with our guest being Yo Mama, that means today is a What's Up episode.
It's This
is our What's Up for September, right, Dre?
Yep. We've been under a rock.
We really have. Like you guys have, we've put episodes out, but Dre and I have not done a podcast
in a month.
In at least a month, yeah. So we've both been gone for a while, traveling around. Dre, where were you at? California?
I went west, yeah, and you went north. So I went to California, up to the San Francisco area, about 2.5 hours east of San Francisco. There's a little place called Grass Valley, and it's in the mountains and the redwoods, and there's grass, which is great. So it was really great being in California again in the beautiful weather. I got a base tan. I was at the pool every morning. It was great. And then went to Montana from there and did some dog shows, and it's just a beautiful drive.
Was California a show too?
Yeah, I did shows. It went from one to the other. Yeah. So the Montana shows were great. It's been probably 5 years or so since I've been, maybe not that long, but around that amount of time since I've been up in Montana. And it's, like at some point, it's just a little ridiculous when you're driving around, the stuff that you see, how beautiful it is. Like you just stop taking pictures and you just like tear up a little. Like I know that sounds weird to say, but I can't even tell you how many times I teared up driving from California to Montana. Like this country is so beautiful. It's so beautiful up in that area. So a lot of time to drive and reflect and listen to great music and soak up the sunshine and enjoy the parts of the country that are frequently visited, not frequently, infrequently visited by humans. It's pretty quiet and sparse up there. So it was a great trip. And then driving back sucked. It's 3 days of driving. So, but it came back to Tennessee, which is great. So put a new house together.
Yeah, you guys moved from Texas to Tennessee. That's huge in the last month. And then how'd the new van do?
I bought a van in that time too. So I sold the bougie van and bought like a stripped down GMC Savannah and then packed it up, moved to Tennessee. And then 2 days after moving to Tennessee, we packed up the van, built a inside setup for me to live in for the next 3 weeks and drove out. So it's been pretty much nonstop since moving. And like today is the first day of like, I'm not slammed all day long with lessons and appointments and stuff. So I'm looking forward to some sleep and some good home food and like slowing down and being able to go to the gym and like going for hikes outside in the sunshine. So there's a lot to look forward to. And Skyhounds Finals is happening here in like 2 weeks too. So it'll be a big social uptick in the area because like I don't know anybody around. I have a few friends around here that I've met through the moving process, but I don't really have many friends in this area yet. So it'll be exciting to have people come in town and have friends around and do all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so for me, it's primarily been dog shows and moving. And then I just went to a seminar in Maryland last weekend, which had some drama because there was a big dog fight there between two of my dogs and had to go to the emergency vet in the middle of the night because that's always when it happens. And so, yeah, so I'm ready to slow down. I'm really happy to be home. Leap's wearing a cone for the first time. He lost a fight. He's getting older. So that's all my updates. Let's hear your East Coast less dramatic but more fun updates.
No, I completely agree with your statement about this country being beautiful and just like so different. The scenery so different as you travel from state to state, and just some of the more rural areas are just gorgeous too. Just
Yeah, you camped at a bunch because you used the that travel camping app. I don't remember the name of it. What
We used Harvest Host
Harvest
and
Host? Yeah.
also Hip Camp.
Yeah.
And it was it's kind of weird because like
Pull up to somebody's house.
one of the places that we stopped was just in a parking lot of a Methodist church. But it was fine. It
Yeah.
was kind of like off the road a little bit. Their parking lot was back behind the church, and they had like two spots there set up that they had specifically, set up for RVs, and no hookups or anything, just a place to stay. But it was great. It wasn't that hot, so we didn't have to run the air conditioner too much. So I was able to run the AC off the van batteries,
Nice.
and yeah, that little experiment worked. So like I had a
How long did you get?
all night.
Really? And how
Yeah,
many
but I
batteries
mean
do you have?
it wasn't
This is a nerd offshoot for those of us who like to camp. What's your battery setup?
so I don't even know. I didn't set
Do
it
you have a
up.
12-volt AC or do you have a
No, it's basically
regular AC power?
the trailer, like you would plug the trailer into a 30 amp. It's the
Yeah.
normal AC unit that's on the travel trailer, but
Uh-huh.
instead of plugging that into a 30 amp like, post or
You plug it
somebody's,
in.
30 amp on the house, I have a 30 amp on my van. So I plug the trailer into the van. And the van has three big lithium batteries that charge as we drive, or I can plug in and charge like, as well. And so that ran the trailer all night. But again, it wasn't super hot, so the AC didn't run like
Like, you have to work
constantly
so
like it
hard.
would in Florida or something.
Right.
But yeah, I'm still working out like what works and what doesn't work. That's my big experiment I got to do now that we're at the house is now that it works so well on the road, Kat and I are like, well, gee,
It could be a
would
backup.
would the AC have lasted all evening if it was like hot Florida weather? So we're
Right.
gonna like charge the batteries, plug in the trailer,
Wow.
and just see how long it runs. But
Yeah.
anyways,
That's a fun aside for all of us that like to park and camp for disc dog things. I haven't tried the lithium batteries. I'm still running a I have a nice Jackery, a 2000 Jackery that I haven't tried running the AC, but it literally runs everything else. I put a fan on it and it went through like 60% halfway through the night from running a big jet fan. So who knows? But that's cool setup. I want to get solar panels for the roof of the van.
yeah, I had many of you guys know Nick Babs's like handyman. He comes to Updiff every year. Anyway, he's an excellent electrician, used to be an AC guy. So like he knows all about that kind of stuff. He put in my batteries for me.
Oh,
So
awesome.
if anybody
Hey.
wants information once I do my experiment, um, that would be a cool podcast actually to like talk about van setups and power.
Actually, let's write that down because that's a good one, especially for this time of
Yeah.
year when everybody's
Yeah,
doing
and we could
fine.
have Nick on. He could talk about it.
That's a good idea. All right, well
Um, and
let's get to the topic. No, oh, where did you actually go? So what did you
So
go?
that's what I was gonna say. I had two great stops. Well, we had multiple great stops, but I did a seminar in Pennsylvania with Wolfpack. That was great. Emily and her husband were great hosts. I enjoyed everybody there at the seminar. Great participants. Then we headed up to the Maritime Cup up in Nova Scotia, and Stephen and Melanie Smith, again, excellent hosts, did a great job of running the competition. If you live anywhere like in the Northeast and you have not been to the Maritime Cup, like you should
I know
go.
everybody was going out there. All my students were preparing for it. So I've never been out to that event, but everybody was really excited about it.
Yeah, it was very well run. A cool little area too, like nice little places to eat and visit around close to them. The only thing that kind of stunk was they had I think much of the Northeast is like this, but they haven't had rain in a while, so they had a burn ban going on. So like all these cool like hiking places that Kat and I wanted to go to, a lot of them were shut down because they wouldn't allow you to hike in the woods because they didn't want,
People
to
smoking
have
a
to rescue
cigarette.
you if a fire broke out, and they didn't want you starting fires and all that kind of stuff. So, which I get. But hopefully, like We talked about going back next year. We're planning on going back next year, and that was actually one of the things we were thinking, Dre, maybe that could be like our event that Updog goes to.
Ooh, I love that idea. I've never been up there before.
Yeah, it would be cool. But anyways, if you're in the Northeast and you haven't been to that, you definitely should go. Going across the border was totally not a problem. Um, like we went up through Maine, and so our border crossing with Canada was like not one of the busier border
Right.
crossings.
Yeah.
When we got there, and we went through from US to Canada, at like, I don't know, like 9 in the morning, and we were the only ones that pulled up. Like when I was driving on the interstate, there I was the only one on the interstate, and then we pulled up to the check-in station or whatever, and we were the only ones there.
Yeah.
And if you saw Kat's Facebook post, I had to make sure we didn't have any canvas in the in the vehicle and in the
Yeah.
trailer. And since we had no canvas, they let us in.
They let you in without canvas,
Exactly.
not cannabis.
Yeah, I got a little confused when the guy said cannabis really fast, and I'm
I
like,
don't know if I
why
have
does
any.
he
I don't know
care
if I have
if I
any
have
canvas. Hold on, let me check.
right? Why does he care if I have canvas? I mean, I have cargo shorts that I think
You're
are made
s-
out of
you're
canvas.
so wholesome that you didn't even recognize cannabis.
Well,
I,
Cat started laughing. He started laughing. Then he's like, "No, sir, cannabis." And I was like, "Oh." Then I started laughing, and then he just rolled his eyes and just was like, "Just
guys
go."
can go. Go.
So, anyways, that was we had a fun trip. We were
Now
gone
we
a
know.
month.
Now we know how to get across the border. Canvas?
Exactly. Just act like a doofus, and they just
Throw
let
your
you
head
through.
inside. Canvas?
Oh,
Where'd
back
you
to the
go?
Harvest Host thing.
Where'd you go after that?
Um, well, let me tell you, like the Harvest Host, the other one is called Hip Camp,
Uh-huh.
HIP Camp,
Yep.
right, Cat? Hip
Yep.
Camp, and
It's a
that one's pretty cool too. Like it's different than Harvest Host. Like Harvest Host, you pay money for the year, and then
yeah.
you're it's free to camp, but then you're supposed to buy stuff or whatever if you go to a brewery or whatever. Like we went to a blueberry farm twice. It was pretty cool, and you just buy some of their stuff that they have there. Um, but like the hip camp was kind of interesting because like one of the ones that we stayed at was essentially somebody's yard, but it was a very nice yard in where were we, Virginia? In Virginia, and like this guy, like he was living in his on his parents' property from like when they grew up there, and they used to do like church youth group camps there because yeah, it's a ton of property. It's not
Okay.
like a suburbia. It's out in the
Right.
country. It's a ton of property, and they had 30 amp hookups and a really cool, nice pavilion with like
Nice.
a fire pit in the middle and
Yeah.
tables and stuff. And he's just like, yeah, we used to use this area for our church youth group, but they don't use it anymore. And it's just sitting here. So I decided to open it up to Hip Camp, and it was a really nice place. And like we could run the dogs. They had a huge field. I played Frisbee with them. And it's kind of weird because you are in somebody's yard. And like,
Hard.
even though we were camping, like his house was maybe, I don't know what, 200 yards away, if that. Like, and so you're sort of like, wow, this guy's really nice and this is a really cool place, but in the back of my head I'm also like, is he gonna kill us in the middle of the night?
You're gonna be fed to the pigs. If anybody has pigs, just don't stay there.
Yeah.
Don't stay at the pig place. Get up. Get up on your phone. Thank you. Okay. So where did you go after Maritime Cup?
Oh, well, after Maritime Cup, we just kind of made our way back home.
Okay.
We stopped in Connecticut, right? And we stopped for an event there with H2D2, and then
You
on
get
the
to
way up, we
you get to
stopped at
play in
an
that one?
event too. So it was really that was the cool part is like we stopped at Updog events on the way up and on the way back, and it's just really cool to like of course we get to see people that attend UpDiff, but not everybody gets to attend UpDiff for whatever reason, money, work, whatever.
Your dog can't hit the
And
express.
so I got to meet a ton of updoggers who I had never met before, and that was really cool. Like,
Yeah.
just to see like what we've created and what people enjoy doing with their dogs. And, it's just really cool to see people playing up dog when, what, 11 years ago we started
There
this
was no up dog.
silly
Yeah.
thing in our yard,
Yep.
So anyways, it was a fun trip, but definitely on the way back home, I was like, this has been really fun, but I'm happy to
Great.
also get home.
Yeah. Yeah. I really enjoy being home these days. It's nice to center and relax and be still and sleep, eat good food, all those things that we take for granted being comfortable at home. So I'm very happy to be home. And when is it right now? So it's beginning of September.
And so this episode's going to come in a few days late because normally we try to do these ahead of time. But like I said, Dre and I haven't done a podcast in a month. So this one was our first one coming back. And so the first thing that we'd like to hit is just kind of talk about some of the upcoming events that you guys
Yeah.
have posted about. Remember, as always, if you have a special event coming up, definitely post in the Updog Challenge discussion page. The algorithm doesn't always send us everything, so if you definitely want it mentioned on the What Up podcast, message Dre or I, excuse me, about your event, or you could just like send us a link to your post or whatever, and we can include it. So, Dre, let's do this. Let's run down some of the things that are going on in September/October.
Well, this is one of my favorite times of year for Updog, because it's Triple Crown and Freestyle Crown time of year. So we have Triple Crown running right now, and I'm a little bummed because I moved right during that time, so I didn't get to play. But because I love the games this year, it's Fireball, Greedy, and Time Warp. Um, I love all three of those games, and I think that it would be super fun to play all three of those games. So if you guys are interested in Triple Crown, it's happening now.
Now through the end of the month of
Through the end of
September.
the month.
Yeah. We actually played our Triple Crown, our local Triple Crown, Sunday, so a couple days ago. Man, it rained. It rained
Oh
and rained,
no.
and it definitely impacted just the event. I pulled some of our guys because of, freestyle finals coming up. I'm like, I don't want anybody getting hurt. I mean, everybody was fine, but still, I just was like, you
It's
know,
not worth the risk. All you need
yeah.
is somebody to slip and tweak something and then be out, and then we've learned these lessons over time, haven't we, Jack?
Yeah.
I
So
put them in
anyway, it
bubble
was
wrap.
good. And a cool thing locally, we ended up with a local champ that had not been a local Triple Crown champ in years past. So we had like kind of a new person come up and become the champion this year.
That's
So we
awesome.
were excited about that as well.
Was it cat?
Um, what's that?
Was it cat?
It was not Cat.
Okay.
No.
Just checking. I might have heard if it was cat.
It was Allie and Riot
Oh, fun.
were our champions. So she was super excited about it. She didn't think that she won at the end of the event. She's like, no, I don't think it was me. And we're all like, I think it was you. But then once we tallied all the scores and put it into the formula and stuff, because there's a spreadsheet with the formula,
Yeah.
um, yeah, she ended up being the winner. So she was super excited about that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I remember those club events. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. We used to, what was the nighttime one? Canis Major. And at the end, we get the little trophies. And the one Canis Major trophy that I got was the little runner-up award, and it's like this big, and I still have it. It was the only one that I ever won. And you guys kept winning every year, and I never won it, but I got this little runner-up award, and it's like that big. Of all the trophies in the world. So for winning things at the first time, like it's a big deal for people. So I still
Absolutely.
have a trophy
Yeah.
from 2010 or 2011 and all the big stuff I've won or whatever. It's that little trophy that stands out for me. I wanted it so bad. All right, so that brings us into the next one, which is my other favorite one.
Go ahead.
Freestyle
You
Crown.
you talk about it. Yeah.
Okay, Freestyle Crown. Yeah. So Freestyle Crown is my favorite Updog event of the year because that's the one that I'm always involved in. And it's our online freestyle competition. So for anybody who has trouble getting to um, an event to get your freestyle points, maybe nobody's hosting around you, you just haven't been able to make it to one, the timing didn't work out, whatever. We have an annual one every year, 2 rounds. This is criterion and performance, so it's a great way to get your points in before the end of the year. And also because it's around Halloween time, we make it super fun themed with the costumes. So I'm very excited about that. That's starting now. We're gonna actually push out our promo for that starting today. So everybody get ready for Freestyle Crown. And thankfully, that's been growing every year. So we're up over 120 entries, 120 entries each year. So it's a big competition. And we will have levels. So we are going to have a novice and an advanced level for that. But we're hoping we'll have a nice battle again. Last year, I mean, there were so many great rounds. I'm really looking forward to seeing what we have this year.
And registration for that opens the 15th.
Yeah, opens the 15th of September and the first round submitted October 1st. So the actual competition part happens the entire month of October from October 1st till October 31st. You have two rounds. You have two round windows, basically window one where you submit your criterion round, and then window two where you submit your performance round, and then you'll get your feedback from your criterion round before the performance round is due. So that way you can get feedback from the judges, you can make any adjustments that you want to make. And one of my favorite parts about online contests is you can take as many videos of as many reps as you like and just submit whatever one's favorite. You can't edit
Mulligan.
pieces. It has to be one complete video, but you can take 10 examples and pull out your best one. So it's a great opportunity to get points, and it's a great opportunity to battle it out online and have some fun with some Halloween themed freestyle. So I'm really excited to see what we have out of that. And Jess is partnering with us again on that this year, and she has really fun designs and great organization that makes it even easy for everybody to play inside the format. So we're excited, and we're grateful that she's back on the team this year too.
Yeah, I was able to judge that last year. It was really fun seeing everybody's styles of play from around the world, and also like um, the performance round, seeing the costumes and the performance aspects that people put into their rounds was really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and we're doing the live judging again this year too for
Oh
our
yeah, that was fun too. Yep.
yeah. So if you guys wanted to plan watch parties, I think we sent it for what, November 5th? I think November 5th was
Whatever
the
that Sunday was.
yeah. We picked a Sunday so that more of you guys could watch. And there's always the risk of having an event or whatever there, but I think we picked yeah, on the 2nd, November 2nd, which is a Sunday, is going to be our live judging. So if you guys wanted to chill on a Sunday afternoon and watch a bunch of freestyle and watch the judges the freestyle and have fun doing that, then Sunday the 2nd is the time to do that.
All right, so let's run through some other ones that are other competitions that are happening around the country and around actually just around the world. Um, I picked this one because I don't believe there's been too much updog going on in South Carolina lately.
Mhm.
So, Autumn Air Updog is happening in Irmo, South Carolina, October 26th, and we are super excited to get South Carolina kind of back up and going.
Yeah.
You know, they've kind of ebbed and flowed over the years with competitions there. So get out there and support them on October 26th for their event.
All right. And then, oh, am I the next one? Well,
Yep,
I
go
did
to the
two in a
next one.
row. So, okay. So the next one is Halloween Party, Pawty, cute. Halloween Party Massacre. That's hard to say. That's at Devlin Farm, Maple Lane Event Center. Where's Devlin Farm? Do we
Kat, do you
know?
know where Devlin Farm is? Nope, don't know.
I'm gonna Google it.
Dre's gonna look it up real quick.
Devlin Farm, Maple Event Center is a venue located in Ontario, Canada. That's one of our
There you
Canadian.
go.
I'm glad I looked because that's far away. All right, so Halloween Party Massacre at Devlin Farm is in Allison, Ontario, Canada. Thank you, Google. See, AI is not always evil.
All right, and then we have Leaf It All on the Field. I love these
These are
like
the cutest
titles that they
names.
have.
I
That's
love
coming up
it.
soon, September 13th in Bowmanville. Kat, where's Bowmanville? That
Google
is
it.
also Ontario. See, I know
Oh, is
Kat
it?
knows most of these because she puts in the events and everything. And then I love all the ones that are Halloween themed. What's the next one, Dre?
Human Zombies. Up Haunt Challenge, like the Up Dog Challenge, but Up Haunt Challenge. Y'all are getting creative out there. And that's October 18th and 19th in Batavia, New York. So that's also, this is interesting. These are really cold areas, are Ontario and New York, Upper New York. So they're getting in their late fall stuff before winter kicks in, before the snow kicks in. They're getting some events in. So Zoom and Zombies Up Haunt Challenge is in Batavia, New York, and that's October 18th and 19th. And then there's one more Halloween themed one that you
Yeah.
saw.
And we had talked about this one last time, but the registration is still open. October 4th and 5th, K-pop Demon Hunters at the Bright Side in Decula, Georgia. The folks that run these events at the Bright Side do a great job.
Mhm.
And definitely check this out. And I still need to watch the K-pop Demon Hunters. I have
I know.
not
I,
done
di- I
that
didn't
yet.
even know it was a thing until the last time we talked about it, and then I learned it was a thing. So I still haven't researched it any further than that
Um,
either. But that's not too far from me. Maybe
Update
I'll have to
since
look
last
around.
month, K-pop Demon Hunters is now the #1 movie of all time on Netflix.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
How am
like
I missing this? I'm
it's
on
got
Netflix. How am
it's
I
got the
missing
most
this?
views of any Netflix movie that they've had out.
I feel like this is the moment where I officially accept that I might be older. How did I miss that? I
I don't
missed this
know.
whole thing. Okay. I'm gonna have to check it out. All right. So this next one I'm excited about because we talked about it on a previous episode, but it was posted again to the Updog discussion group with a picture of it in use, which is really exciting. So it's the Disc Dog deck. Ben Morin's beta test version 2 is out, and there's like little buttons on this cube, like different
Looks like
timers. So it has our freestyle timers and our different game timers, a 75 and we have a 90. There's a 60-second. There's a fireball button, which probably has the randomizer on it. So you can like program this thing to have the buttons do different things and use it for your event next to your audio deck. Like when you're running the event and you have all the different sounds and audio and stuff like that, you could push these buttons and it'll make like fireball noises or it'll be your timer and it'll be easier than trying to manage a bunch of files in a folder and click on like the right tiny little note, which I think is the hardest part when you're running an event. It's like bright and it's hard to see. And where you have to click for the audio is this tiny little triangle. And if you don't click it right, or you could click it and it has a pause and then it starts and you didn't know you stopped it and it messed people up. So I feel like that, this kind of product is needed.
well, and the cool thing about this is it's standalone, so you don't. It's not like a Stream Deck where you have to plug it, into your computer, and the buttons are essentially just, telling your computer to do something, and then you've got to have both devices.
Sure, it's in the
This
box.
is self-sustain, like this is standalone. It's you just plug it in and go. And
That's
on version 2.0, Ben put in a pause button because sometimes, like in freestyle, like if the timer's going and another dog runs on the field or something, you need to pause.
yeah.
So it now has a pause feature as well as, which I thought this was cool. He added a random dice roll button. So
Oh,
you just push the
perfect for face
button
drop.
and it will randomly tell you what number was rolled on a 1 through 6 sided dice. So you can use that for spaced out. So that he's really adding in some cool features and he's looking to get the final product or at least the first official product out soon. So again, if you're interested, keep up with his posts on the discussion page, and I'm sure he's going to put out information soon about how to order those. I know
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Hey, I was wondering, can we talk about freestyle?
I mean, we're like 25 minutes in already, so it's kind of late, but yeah.
It is kind of late. The next topic you have on here is criterion and performance, two different routines. That was a question that was posted to the group. And it's a great question, in my opinion. For criterion and performance, do you change the routine between what you do for criterion and what you do in performance? And so there was a lot of comments about changing the beginning and the ending. Obviously, music is one of the things that pretty much everyone changes between the two. And then we talked about adding higher elevation of tricks maybe in the performance round because if it doesn't work, you still get the credit for, trying something new and exciting and that kind of stuff. So there's some other comments here, Jack. I don't
Yeah,
know
I
if you
thought I thought Nikki Penta had a comment, which I thought was a good one because I know a lot of times people just think, well, performance round, it's just a costume and a different
Oh,
song. And it could be, but there's a lot more to it. And I thought her comment was great. She said, add performance aspects to it. Many people think you have to wear a costume. That's incorrect. Performing is different than just doing your routine. When you perform, you can add simple things like getting the crowd to clap along to your song, facing the crowd, getting them to engage by asking for applause, fist bumps, or sorry, fist pumps, etc. The key is to be fun to watch. That's an excellent. I love that statement. The key
yep.
is to be fun to watch. Involve the crowd, line up some moves to match the music, and try not to blindly go through your routine.
Yeah, don't be in your
That
head.
that
Right.
last part is totally
Yeah.
me for like the first 10 years of my freestyle career.
Yeah.
Blindly going through the routine, never
Yeah.
looking at the judges, never looking at the crowd.
Yep.
Like, and like sometimes you're in your own head and you do that, but the performance round is a great opportunity for you to push yourself out of your comfort zone if that's not you.
Yeah.
And put in some of those performance aspects. Nikki gave a number of good examples there. Pick one and try it at your next performance round.
I just had this interesting metaphor pop up in my head. If you were at like a concert, let's just say you're at a Taylor Swift concert, because that just makes it more interesting. So let's say you're at a Taylor Swift concert and she's singing and she looks at you and she reaches out her hand and says something as she's singing it. Like what type of feeling does that give you that the person that you're watching and there's tens of thousands of people around you is connecting directly with you, right? And that's really that part of the performance aspect. Like when I'm performing, I don't look at any one person particularly, but I look at the whole crowd and I make sure I look left and right, and it looks to those people like I'm looking directly at them. And that just gives you a different feeling. Like when you're observing that, you feel more connected and invested in the routine. And so I think that's the number one thing that I hear about top players from other organizations, players that have been established in the sport prior to Updog existing, maybe having some resistance to coming playing Updog freestyle. The thing that we hear all the time is the objection is, I don't want to have to wear a costume. And for the love of God, you don't have to wear a costume. So if we could just say that three more times, you don't have to wear a costume, don't have to wear a costume, don't have to wear a costume. You don't ever have to wear a costume. If you were
But
going to
but you
do something,
can.
you can. You can. But if
You
you were to go do a performance somewhere and you walked in completely like mismatched from your dog and they didn't even look like they belonged to you as a dog, that's going to have a different impact as if you walk in and you look like you're on the same team. And if you were
right.
walking in like a soccer team, you'd all be wearing the same jersey, the same socks, the same colors. It's not like you have to do that.
And if going back to your Taylor Swift thing, if she
Yeah.
showed up at the concert like in baggy sweatpants and like an old t-shirt, people would be like, "What?
What's going on?
This is not Taylor Swift."
Unless
I'm
that's her brand, right? And then you
yeah.
would expect that. But so like I feel like there's an opportunity to um like nitrous oxide your freestyle by being present, which is the last part of that thing. Don't blindly go through it, right? Like yeah, freestyle's for you to have fun, but if you really want to level up into the next level of performance, it's not for you. It's for everyone else's enjoyment, right? So maybe that could be the shift that has people understand the difference between criterion and performance. For criterion, you can be more in, not like we want people to be in your head, but it's not necessarily only about connecting with the audience. It's more about hitting specific criterion elements to be able to put on the best presentation, right? So there may be less focus on interacting with an audience, but the performance round, like literally, it tells you to do that. So it's pushing us to get out of our heads, pushing us to be present and connected with the community and our dogs and have a different level of self-expression that I think in this country anyway, tends to be stifled in a lot of areas. We don't necessarily encourage open, creative self-expression in a lot of areas. So I feel like that's what our performance round is asking people to do, is to get out of their heads and connect with people in the audience, connect with the judges, connect authentically with their dogs. And that sort of like that connection gives you a different feeling watching it. It makes you feel special that you get to be there. And Taylor Swift looked at me. Even if she was looking at the 20 people that are all in the same spot as me, it felt like she was looking at me, right? And that, I think that's what Nikki's alluding to. When you're performing and you pause and you turn around on a dog catch and you're like, "Yeah." And the crowd, you're like this, and the crowd is yelling at you, that just fires up everything. And if you're not that type of person, find a different way to connect. It doesn't have to be that you're like Nikki's a very showy person. She's comfortable doing that. Jack, you're less comfortable doing that. So you found more funny, silly, creative ways to really have performance through your music and your editing and the switch of the hat and some of the moves and the athletic humor you use. It's not loud, it's not the same thing, but it's still performance. It's still a funny way of connecting with the audience and making them feel like they're directly involved in your freestyle. So I know I'm chatting a lot about this particular, but I feel like it's been an ongoing issue. Like we just keep hearing that people want they think they have to wear a costume in order to do performance, and it's just not the case. There's so many other ways to express performance.
Yeah, and costume too is kind of like a term that could mean so many things. Like, obviously for the freestyle crown that we just talked about leading up to Halloween, a lot of people go all out because it's that time of year to
Yeah.
have fun and dress up as something. And you could do that, right? But your costume could also just, I think Dre mentioned, like, you match your dog or you match something
Yeah.
with a song or you just look like a team out there. My discs are one color and I'm wearing the same color t-shirt or whatever. Like it doesn't have to be like I'm Snow White, or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah, and maybe you won't get as many quote unquote performance points for your costume, but you still have the same exact opportunity to get those two performance points for your performance ability, whether that means you put really cool tricks in there and got the audience to laugh or clap, or you did something that really impressed the judges that got them to feel engaged. But I think the part that's missing is like somehow it got into a picture of like that it has to be a costume. And I think what we're trying to say is we want you to connect authentically. And so those are very different conversations, right? It's just really different. And I think it's harder to connect authentically than it is to put on a costume to
Yeah,
get out
and
of
I
your head.
mean that is a way to connect with your audience as well. Like, um,
I'm not hating on costumes. I love the costumes.
no, exactly. And I mean, and sometimes, that's the whole connection thing. Sometimes I look at a costume and I immediately know what that person is going for, and then I hear the song and I'm like, oh, and yeah, it connects with that, and blah blah blah. And other times I may
I
not,
don't get
because other
it.
times I'm like, I have no idea what that person's wearing. Maybe they're wearing a K-pop Demon Hunter thing, and I haven't
See?
seen that yet, even though
Roll.
apparently I'm in the minority.
Oh man.
All
Uh,
right.
all right. So what's happening with UpDiff?
So
Freak.
yeah, so another freestyle related question that was on the Dog discussion or the Updog discussion page this month was some confusion about what's going on with freestyle at Updiff. And just to clarify, I know we've mentioned this on other podcasts and we've had, I think, a post about it as well, but just a quick clarification. There will not be two rounds of freestyle like normally at UpDiff. We're not going to have the criterion round and the performance round. We will only have one round, just like we have of every other game, to be honest. And that is going to be the performance round. So that's kind of a big shift for UpDiff. But we also are launching this year the Freestyle Invitational, which is going to be our big freestyle event of the year, where we will still have the criterion round and the performance round. And we do have a few things we can share about that, some of which we've shared before, but none of the statements that come out of my mouth right now are
Are official.
100% verified, but they are like 92% verified.
Good
So,
disclaimer, Jack.
what do we know about the Freestyle Invitational, Dre?
We know that it's going to be in Florida and that it's going to be around the 7th or the 8th. And then we know that we're going to be it's going to be podium finishers for all divisions and maybe top 10 of divisions. And then we have wild cards on top of that, which we won't disclose any more information about because we get to pick
Yeah,
some people.
top 10 overall, that
Yeah.
is.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get that information out soon. Actually, tonight we're having some conversations about it as a team. And we will have it's freestyle and far out. It will be recorded. One of the days we'll have a big film crew out there. AKC, our partners, and ESPN will be there to film. It'll be on ESPN2 later in the year, and I'm sure they'll show it multiple times like they have our other AKC events. But anyway, we're excited about that freestyle and far out to be filmed and on TV, which that's
Yep. It's a
amazing.
dream.
the more disc dogging we can get on TV, the more we inspire other folks to try it with their dogs. So that's going to be
Yep.
cool. All right.
So there was another question posted to the group about tracking.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. We
so
skipped that one. Sorry, I skipped it because we were on a freestyle run there.
yeah, we are, but we're gonna break it up with a little toss and fetch like every other, but we don't do that really in Updog. We let them all shine on their own. Anyway, um, do you whether or not you need to have your dog look back at you? I have a whole, I mean, we could talk about this for like half an hour, so we don't need to we don't need to do that. But there were a lot of different opinions whether their dog needs to look back at them or could lead out to a certain spot and they lose it in tracking collection. They have tips of look left and right and um different cues for whether they're going long. Like I have a verbal cue for go, which is my toss and pitch cue, and then I have a catch cue catch for any other one where I need them to look at where I'm going and where the direction of the disc is going. So that's one of the suggestions also. I think this is one of those topics like we can talk about for a really long time. Do you have an elevator speech thought about that?
I have a personal experience.
Yeah, that's great. Let's hear your personal experience.
So this is a recent personal experience as well. Um, so I commented on the post. So if anybody wants to see what I thought about the post, you can go back and read it. And there's lots of comments on this post and lots of opinions. And they're opposing. There's people that say, yeah, I want my dog to check back in with me for a split second, make sure that they're checked in before they head downfield. And there's other people that are like, nope, I want my dog looking straight ahead. And then there were people in the middle that were like, well, it sort of depends on this or that. And that's kind of where I am at. Um, I think I know I've mentioned this before, but I think with a younger dog, I don't care about points in DA or throw and go or whatever you want to call the toss and fetch format that you're playing. I don't care that my puppy is going to get X number of points. Like we're not being competitive at that point. So my personal experience is this. I I have a dog named Doc Brown. He's a crazy whippety looking fellow,
Yeah.
and he is all legs right now, trying to figure himself out in terms of his body movement. And he's just found out that he can go super fast.
Hmm. I
And
remember when that happened with Chillin'. Yeah.
and
And
I
then
really don't want
he
him to
picked
go.
up.
I really don't want him to go super fast right now because I want him to learn to be patient on the disc. I want him to learn to collect and leap nicely for the disc. And if he's going kawabunga all the way down the field as fast as he can without looking back, he's not doing any of those things.
No, he's not.
So I've been doing a lot of like little short zigzags back and forth with them, varying up where on the field I'm throwing. And we're going to be going to Skyhounds coming
Yeah.
up. And Kat's like, well, why don't you enter him in uh, what do they call it? Last chance distance accuracy. And I just lost distance accuracy there in my head for a second. So their format for toss and fetch is called distance accuracy. And she's like, that way their doc has something to do. And I'm like, okay, cool. So then I'm like, well, I should practice with them a little bit and see how he does. So it's not like the first time when he gets there. So I've played DA with them now 3 times.
Mhm.
And in those 3 times of playing DA
How
with
many has he
him,
caught?
what?
How many has he caught?
Oh, actually, he's doing pretty good.
That's good.
But that's not the thing. Is like now he's like, woo! And he just like goes and hauls
Yeah.
butt and doesn't look back. And I mean, I'm a decent thrower. I can get the disc out in front of him and get it right where he needs it to be. But if I wasn't a decent thrower or the wind took one or whatever, like he would have no shot at catching them because
Yep.
he's figured out that when I walk up to the line with one disc and I ask him to go around and I say go, which is my cue to
Right.
go, he's just going to haul butt.
Yep.
And then when I've pulled him back on other days to go back to the now let's practice these little short back and forth things,
Yeah.
he's like a little
Running
bit
him.
a little bit wonky. He's not like he's wanting to run and go fast. And so that's my personal experience that 3 rounds of DA has messed up Doc's ability to go back and forth
Yeah.
on the field and collect nicely and track nicely. Now I say messed up. it's not like he's broken forever or anything, but like
Point
let's
in
just say
development.
all I did was DA for
Yeah.
like the first
Problem.
3 months. It
Yeah.
would be really hard to get him to go back to do the other.
Yep.
So my big thing is like I want my dog checking in with me, and if they don't check in with me during DA, that's the exception, not the rule.
Right.
Like, and so anyway, I got to work. I'm gonna have to work with them after
Yeah.
this last chance qualifier thing to get him back in shape with his patience and his collection and things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. I just had a very similar experience with Chillin, discovering he can run. And I was handed the gift of the universe that when I went and did shows, we did this toss and fetch battle between two dogs. And so I lent Leap to like Chris, who was throwing to him, and I threw to Chillin. And so 2 or 3 times a day, he got this experience of 10 toss and fetch or 6 or 7 toss and fetch throws in a show setting where he would go around, but he couldn't blast. He had a track the whole way. So this wasn't even planned. I get back and I put him on toss and fetch field. This dude caught everything, and he was not able at all, not even close to being able to catch anything over 20 yards before that. So that was super interesting, throwing into a barrier for like a long period of time with a lot of reps. Um, and that's something that we did when we you and I did that when we first started Disc Dog 100 years ago. To get your dog to stop doing an outrun. That was like the way to get them to stop doing an outrun is throw them into a
Put
barrier
a wall in front of
event.
them.
Yeah, you get to the event and there's no fence there, and your dog's like, woo, and they're running a million outruns. So anyway, my answer to that would be that it just depends on the dog. Like sometimes you get a dog that's going to stay on its side from pressure and track all the way down the field, and then you get other ones that are more cattle dog types or Aussie types or whippity types that really love the running part, and they're just going to drop their head and run. And you make negotiations with them in that process, like they're gonna look at it or they're not gonna get the disc, or they're gonna slow down and collect at the part or stay the line that they're on. And if they don't do the thing they're supposed to do, then you have to put more control things in place earlier in their run. So like if you're at the point where you need your dog to look at you before you throw, you're at the beginning stages of training toss and fetch. And as your dog will track down the field reliably and stay on that line and look at around the 40 yards line where the disc is going to, or wherever you end up throwing to, the dog can adjust their run to collect at that point. You don't need them to look at you anymore. You just need them to make that correct choice towards the end of the field. I think ultimately we don't want to have any communication with our dogs during toss and fetch. Once we actually throw it, we want the dog to just be able to go do their work. And anything that you say to them interrupts that work. So for me, the only thing I'm saying to them is if they're totally not looking in the right spot, I'll say, look. And because I'm left-handed, my dog should be looking over their left shoulder the entire time. If they're not looking over their left shoulder, or if the disc is not on their left side, I'll say, look, and the dog will look to the right. That's the only thing that I have in place for everything else. I want to try and let them do their work. And if they're not making the right independent choice, then I'm backing up what I allow them to do. They have to look before they run, and then I shorten the throw and all that stuff. Because I've just found like there's no way to negotiate with a dog at 45 yards. Like they're 45 yards away from you. How are you going to negotiate with them?
Yeah, I always felt
The
that if
right,
I said anything more times than not,
they drop.
I would mess them up. Like it was better if I just kept my mouth shut
Yep.
and they found it themselves.
Yep.
But I mean, most of the time they're tracking it from like 20 yards out. Like
Yep.
they're tracking it for a while. Like I again, we could go down a rabbit hole,
We really can.
so let me just stop myself because I was about to say
We should have a
something.
separate episode on this too, whatever the
Yeah,
other
I
one
was
is.
about to say something that would start another 10-minute
A whole nother
conversation. So
conversation.
I'm done.
But the elevator speech for this would be if your dog has tracking problems in toss and fetch, play more up dog games. That's it.
And and
Just
if
play
you're
games that are in different patterns. It'll teach your dog to be looking different directions. It'll work on your throws. Your dog will be able to catch on the left and the right. They'll be more reliable about your communication. They'll be checking in with you because they don't know the pattern. So like if you're having struggle with this single disc game, play multi-disc games and stay away from single disc for like 3 months, and then
yeah.
go back, and you'll have a totally different dog.
I think in general, mixing up your training, mixing up the games that you play whether it's a puppy or a grown dog, I think that that's good to do.
Yep.
Like,
Jack, I think also you have one more update that you have neglected to update us on, and it's red.
That
It's got freckles and it's got blue little eyes. And can you please update us on the latest addition to our Updog family?
Yes, Cat's getting her out now. Her name is Jitterbug or just Bug. She's full of personality,
just woke up.
She looks like
but
it.
she
She
just woke
reminds
up,
me of Old
so
Spice.
she's coming here.
Doc.
Oh, there's the daddy grab. Look at that cute little demon.
So
Oh,
she is 4 months old. She is a mini Aussie. What
is she
else do we what else do we want to say about her cat?
Hey, get up.
She's Doc's best friend.
Well,
Of course.
they've not really been allowed to play with each other yet, but they will be best friends shortly, as you can
Yeah,
see.
they're already biting on each other. Yeah, how's that having two puppies in the house at once?
Well, right
Sleeping
now, like I
better?
said, we're keeping them separate.
Yeah.
But it should be crazy once they are released loose with one another.
Yeah, I can't really let many dogs out with Chillin when he wants to run because he's just scary fast, and I'm just worried about one of them tripping him up and him going tumbleweeding everywhere. So,
Yeah.
oh my God, she's so cute. How big do you think she's gonna be?
She is
That's her bone.
I think she's gonna be small. She's trending 2 pounds lighter than even Wham at the same age. Yeah,
Wow, really
right.
tiny, tiny. She's got a lot more bone than Wham.
Yeah, she does.
Interesting. She's so pretty. I love that minimal white. Her little white toe socks. Welcome to the family, Jitterbug.
All
Give
right,
me.
guys. Well, I think that's all we have for you in this episode. We are glad to be back in our homes where we can podcast and get some more
Yeah.
episodes out to you guys. But we really did enjoy seeing the country and all the different places that you guys play up dog. So hopefully you'll be out on a field playing soon. And in the meantime,
Oh, be kind to each other.
and be kind to your animals. We will see you next time on The Sweet Spot.
See you guys.
Why does he care if I have canvas?